For thousands of years, war was limited by human strength. Armies marched as fast as feet could carry them. Weapons were crafted by hand. Battles were fought within sight of the enemy. Then, the world changed. Steam engines roared to life. Factories produced weapons in massive quantities. Railroads moved entire armies in days instead of months. War was no longer local. It became industrial. A single nation could now mobilize millions. Supply lines stretched across continents. Communication traveled faster than ever before. And for the first time in history, war would involve entire societies, not just soldiers. Civilians, factories, economies, and infrastructure all became part of the battlefield. This was the birth of modern warfare, and it would lead to conflicts on a scale the world had never seen before. By the late 18th and early 19th centuries, the Industrial Revolution began reshaping economies across Europe and North America. Steam power, mechanization, and mass production transformed agriculture, manufacturing, and transportation. These same forces transformed war. The Napoleonic Wars had already introduced mass conscription and national armies. But industrialization expanded these ideas exponentially. Railroads became strategic assets. Armies could be deployed rapidly across vast distances. Reinforcements, supplies, and artillery could arrive with unprecedented speed. Nations that controlled rail networks gained significant military advantage. The telegraph revolutionized communication. Commanders no longer relied solely on messengers. Orders could be transmitted almost instantly across long distances, allowing centralized command structures to coordinate complex operations. War was becoming coordinated on a national scale. Weapons technology advanced rapidly. Rifled muskets replaced smoothbore firearms, dramatically increasing accuracy and range. Artillery became more powerful and precise. Ironclad warships replaced wooden fleets, marking a new era in naval warfare. One of the earliest conflicts to demonstrate industrial warfare was the American Civil War, 1861, 1865. Railroads, telegraphs, mass-produced weapons, and trench systems all appeared during this war. It showed how industrial capacity could sustain prolonged conflict, and how modern technology increased battlefield lethality. The war also revealed a harsh reality. Technology was advancing faster than tactics. Traditional battlefield formations became increasingly vulnerable to modern firearms and artillery. Across Europe, military leaders studied these lessons, but not all adapted quickly enough. By the late 19th century, industrialization had spread globally. Nations competed for resources, markets, and influence. Imperial expansion intensified, particularly in Africa and Asia. Colonial wars demonstrated the imbalance between industrialized armies and less technologically equipped forces. Machine guns, such as the Maxim gun, could deliver sustained firepower unmatched by earlier weapons. This dramatically altered battlefield dynamics. At the same time, new technologies emerged. Steam-powered navies, railway logistics, mass ammunition production, advanced explosives, like dynamite. War was becoming mechanized. Economies became directly tied to military capability. Industrial output determined how long a nation could sustain conflict. This led to the concept of total war. Total war meant that entire societies were mobilized. Factories produced weapons, farms fed armies, and civilians supported war efforts through labor and resources. The distinction between front lines and home fronts began to blur. By the early 20th century, global tensions had intensified. Alliances formed between major powers. Industrial capacity had reached unprecedented levels. The stage was set for something new, a conflict that would combine industrial power, global alliances, and modern technology. World War I. But before that storm arrived, the industrial age had already reshaped the rules of war. Speed replaced distance. Mass production replaced craftsmanship. Coordination replaced isolation. Industry replaced limitation. War was no longer just fought by armies, it was fought by nations. The industrial age teaches us one of history's most important lessons. Power grows with innovation, but so does responsibility. Humanity learned how to build faster, stronger, and more efficiently. But those same abilities reshaped conflict in ways no one fully understood at the time. Progress is not inherently good or bad, it depends on how it is used. The machines we create can build civilizations, or transform conflict beyond control. As we move into the next chapter, the World Wars, we will see how industrial power reaches its peak and its power. Consequences. Remember, the future is shaped not just by what we invent, but by how we choose to use it.